Hey everybody, I'm Eric and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about my mindset and attitude shifts that I have made which have propelled me into this financial journey and how it's helping me accomplish my financial goals. Growing up, my mom would always tell me that the mind is a powerful thing, and she'd say this anytime I would say something negative. And I remember going back and forth with my mom saying, I'm not negative, I'm not a pessimist, I'm a realist. I just call it for what it is. Just before starting this financial journey, I began learning about the law of attraction, manifestation, and the true power of our minds. I became absolutely fascinated and intrigued. I just kept learning more and more about it. I now wholeheartedly believe that our minds control our reality. So here are the basics of what I've learned about that and how I'm applying that to my life to help me accomplish my financial goals. So we actually have two minds. We have our conscious mind, which is active thought and thinking. This is our creative mind, and this is where our wishes and desires come from. Then we have our subconscious mind, which is learned habits. It's the program that's constantly making calculations in the background and making decisions without our conscious mind even being aware of it. Now, where it really starts getting fascinating, at least to me, is that we all have a program that runs our subconscious mind. And this program is downloaded in the first 7 years of life. Think of that program like your operating system. It's your Windows or your iOS. And the way that this program is downloaded into our subconscious minds in the first 7 years of life is through observation and repetition. Now, to give you an example, some of the most basic functions of that program in our subconscious mind, which is downloaded in the first 7 years of life, is eating, walking, and talking. These are learned habits that are part of that program, and this is how we can do those things on a daily basis without having to actively and consciously think about them. If you want to move forward, you don't have to think, okay, I need to lift my right leg up, I need to move it forward and then put it down, and then I got to repeat that process with my left leg. We just do it. It becomes natural to us. So that program in your subconscious mind is making those calculations and those decisions and executing them automatically without you really being aware of it. Now, that's just an example of part of a program that most people get, but we all get different programs as well depending on the environment that we grew up in, which is going to dictate the overall program that you get. Remember, this program is learned habits, all right, which is downloaded within the first 7 years of your life through observation. So the environment that you grew up in is going to dictate the program that you get. Now, that very program is going to be the basis for dictating the rest of your life. That program is your paradigm. So here's where the law of attraction comes into play, because later in life you will attract into your life things that the subconscious mind has been programmed to recognize. These are things that we call normal. Anything outside of that or anything different is scary, and therefore we subconsciously resist it. Once I really started grasping the idea of all of this, it was absolutely enlightening to me. If you're wondering what program was downloaded in your mind in the first 7 years of life, just look at your life now. It is literally a blueprint of that program. For anybody that might be thinking this is total hocus pocus right now, I highly encourage you to do your own research and do your own learning, and you'll see that this is actual science. Even the Jesuits said for 400 years, give me a child until age 7 and I will show you the man. Even they understood that the first 7 years of life can absolutely dictate the rest of your life. You could even call this indoctrination. Now, this downloaded program in our subconscious rules our lives because 95% of our days are controlled by decisions made by the subconscious mind. Only 5% of our day is decided by decisions made in our conscious mind. And this is why, as an example, daydreams often remain just that, dreams. These things take active thought to think of. Now, as an example, generally, this is why people born into wealthy families stay wealthy and people born into poor families stay poor. This is also why people born into situations where they experience and witness domestic violence are way more likely to experience it in their own personal relationships later in life. Remember, you will later attract into your life things that you have been programmed to recognize. Your active conscious mind might realize that this is wrong and I don't like this, but your subconscious mind has been programmed to recognize it. Now, before everybody gets all depressed thinking, oh my God, my life has already been predetermined, it doesn't matter what I do, I'm screwed. No, you can change the paradigm. You can rewrite the program in your subconscious mind. You can code and write your own update and upload it into that program of the subconscious mind. So how do you do that? Well, you do it the same way you did in the first 7 years of your life, through observation and habits. First of all, observation. I mean, I'm sure you've heard people say, surround yourself with the kind of people that you want to be like. Dan Pena has an awesome quote that I love, and that is, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. We still learn a great deal, even at this age in our lives, through observation. So surround yourself with the kind of people that you want to be like. Then you have practice. Let's say you want to get good at a sport or you want to learn a new sport. What do? You practice and you keep practicing until you get good at it. If you want to learn a new language, what do? You practice until you're good at the language. You practice these things until they become learned habits, and then you can do them without having to consciously and actively think about them. They just become natural to you. Anything that you have to try really hard at in life, or things that don't come easily to you, are because they're not part of the program that was downloaded in your subconscious mind. Whereas things that do come into your life easily and things that you actually like and enjoy are there because you have programs downloaded to recognize and support it. You have to make the conscious decision to have your conscious mind think certain thoughts and then repeat them. You can create new habits of thought and shift your paradigm in this way. This is why, as an example, people who are constantly negative and say things like, I suck, nobody loves me, nobody likes me, they keep repeating that to themselves in their conscious active mind, and through that repetition and habit forming, it goes into their subconscious mind, and then it becomes their reality. Through that very process, whether it's positive or negative thoughts and words, you repeat them enough and then it becomes your reality. That is manifestation. Now, to most effectively access the program in our subconscious minds now, we need to do it when our brain is in a theta state. This is right before you go to sleep at night and right after you wake up in the morning. This is your groggy period. Now, theta is the state of mind that we're in for the first 7 years of life while that program is being downloaded by our brains. Our conscious mind didn't really activate until after about age 7. So think of theta as the BIOS for our operating system. We can still access it to rewrite the program, but only during certain narrow windows now, like before you go to sleep and as soon as you wake up. Unlike when we were first born, we were in BIOS for 7 years. Now think about it, this is why children have such incredible imagination. They can sit there and have a tea party with real tigers and real lions, and they can slay real dragons with nothing more than an empty paper towel tube. It's because they are in that constant theta state, which allows them to mix reality with imagination seamlessly. Now, there are 5 brain waves, and I encourage you to find out what they are and what their basic functions are, but the 2 that I'm talking about are theta and beta. Beta is your conscious mind. This is active thought and thinking. This is our creative mind, and this is where our wishes and desires come from. So theta is that state right before you fall asleep at night, right when you wake up in the morning. It's a hypnotic state where we mix reality with imagination, and this is often thought to be where our best creative thought comes from. Which explains why maybe you've experienced it, if you've heard other people talk about it, that they have their best ideas when they're in the shower for some reason. This is usually because we get in the shower right after we wake up, so we're still a little tired and groggy, and we're in a hot shower and there's steam and we're relaxed, and we're in that theta state right before our subconscious mind is beginning to completely take over, and we have our best ideas, we're most creative there. So to feed your subconscious mind in a theta state, you can do something like listen to a program at night before you go to bed or when you wake up. There are plenty of videos on YouTube that are 8 hours long or longer. They're nothing more than words of affirmations. Now, I do this every night when I go to bed. I put in my earbuds and I listen to some program that's nothing more than words of affirmations, and I listen to it for hours. At some point in the middle of the night, I wake up and I take my earbuds out and turn off my phone and go back to sleep. And then I do this again first thing in the morning. There are even certain themes of affirmations that you can find, like wealth affirmations or health affirmations or self-esteem affirmations, etc. Now, first thing in the morning, I do the same thing, and I just listen to affirmations and I try to confirm and reaffirm the affirmations that I'm hearing as I become more and more awake. I use this time to plan my day and decide what goals I'm going to accomplish today to accomplish my overall goal of financial independence and freedom. I take advantage of this theta state and try to influence that program in the subconscious mind as much as possible while I'm within that window. I used to just wake up and immediately grab my phone and check my messages and then my email, and then I would scroll mindlessly through Facebook and then check Instagram and then probably look at the weather. For the love of God, please stop doing this. There's science on why you should not look at your phone until you've actually accomplished something in your day. So this whole thing has really transformed my attitude, so much so that even my wife has taken notice and said that I just seem like I'm in a better mood lately. This in turn has also vastly improved my productivity in so many ways. I'll make another video in the future about how I changed my habits and my daily routine to manage all of my productivity. But suffice it to say that these two things go hand in hand. If you're at all interested in learning more about manifestation, the law of attraction, and the true power of our minds, I seriously encourage you guys to learn as much about it as you can. It's absolutely fascinating. I'm not even sure I truly understand all of it yet, but it has been absolutely paramount in launching me into this financial journey. Dr. Bruce Lipton, Jim Kwik, and Bob Proctor videos on YouTube would be a great start. Also, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill talks about this very thing in a less scientific and more practical sort of way. And just remember that the body has limitations, the mind does not. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please hit that like button for me real quick before you leave. I hope this video at least inspired you to begin learning about the law of attraction and how you can apply it to your life in positive ways. Subscribe if you haven't already to keep following me on my financial journey, and until next time, make it happen.